I have clicked the record button and I get to say, yo, what up? How's it going, man?
Hello, Tam. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Good to hear from you. Vash, huh? Death Vash. Big fan of the death symbol right now. You're a big fan of Trigun Stampede. I know you got a sick Fire Wolfwood deck. Moving on to Death Vash. Hit me with a pitch. What's going on with this? What's going on with this guy?
All right. So, like, the main reason I really want to build Vash more than anything is because I want to build a second good deck that I can play with my buddy. Without, I have like 4 other decks that are like built, but they're like somewhat of on a budget. So anytime I play Fire Wolfwood against them, or my buddy plays Fire Wolfwood against them, it's just not a fair game.
Sure.
So this Vash, I am not. He's just not. He's not on a budget. He's playing every good attack that I could possibly afford, that you could possibly think of. Every good foundation I could think of. But I don't. I ended up adding. I wanted to change up the some of the foundations. I put in one of the things that I felt like I might want. Like for like I was playing like 3 settling old debts at some point. Only like 2 Keikos instead of 3. I wasn't playing any latent. I put through in one, and I was playing the there's like a 2 diff 4 from the Trigun Stampede thing. Seen it all. I
Yeah.
thought it was if an attack is on top, it's give your attack +1/+1. It's +1 or +1.
Yeah.
So I immediately cut it.
Yeah.
Because it's garbage, and put fighting for controlling.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. This all makes sense to me.
But
so my question is, what do you need my help with?
I don't want it to just be good against like me playing against my buddy. I want to know, like, I want to like get your opinion and thoughts on like what you think on like what would be ideal foundations, just to, if you wanted to, like, this might be something I want to consider playing for St. Louis even.
Sure. Okay, so the first thing we got to know about Vash, right, is Vash he is a pacifist, and sometimes he has an issue killing people when your moves aren't very big, right?
Yeah.
And so idea... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, with that being said, I considered playing BFE like as a 2-of, but I'm not even sure if that's like correct, and like cutting the Punishers.
Sure.
I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
I don't hate it, right? 7 high for 100 is very good, right? Like it just is. My point is things like Vial, incredible, right? It's a 6 damage move most of the time, lets you draw a bonus card. Battle Release hits a 6 high for 8. Punisher's Beam selectively destroys foundations, snaps you momentum. Lizard Tail Splitter does not kill people. It is a 4 damage move in our character. It's gonna hit, but it's only ever going to do 4 damage. Same thing with Instant Shining Flash, same thing with Stylish Strike. Like these moves, you are hitting somebody for 4 damage a lot of times, right? And I think that in order to, like, 4 damage isn't enough. You have to push bigger and better than just the 4. And that's just how I feel, right? So first and foremost, like the thing that I want to look at is like, what death attacks do we have? Things like Tri-Gravity Beam, of like, hey, this is a 7 damage move, like as long as you can remove a card, right? Let's look at things like Blue Flame Flare is sick, right? It's this is a 7 high for 8. Yeah, 7 high for 8, and if they have 8 or more ready foundations, it gets another 3 damage. Is like crazy, right? Having things like, honestly, like Lunaterras, 7 damage move, like it's very strong. I just like BFE is like incredible in this character, right? 7 high for whatever it needs to be, very good. Even to the point of True 100% Unleashed, giving this thing an extra 2 speed is a good exchange rate. Like there's no reason not to give this thing an extra 2 speed, right?
Yeah.
And so like these are the ideas that we could be having instead of things like hell, Inevitable Clash, great inside of a character, right? 7 high for 7 is super good.
Yeah.
I just don't think that playing like we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 4-damage moves. I'm not afraid of
Yeah.
these at all unless we find something like interdimensional plants, right?
Like the reason I'm playing them is just because I look at them and I just wanted to look for like the best value attacks possible. Wasn't
Yeah.
really considering damage, I guess, in that context. And like the Silas Strike's just something you have to block. Instant Flying Shining Flash is just a free attack in the card pool in a sense. Lizard Tail just like makes it harder for them to block. Like I thought these were all just like decent things to play. I but I wouldn't know what would be like in your head the first thing to cut. Like Lizard Tail, I guess.
Lizard Tail for sure. Lizard Tail instantly
Okay.
gets to leave. And I would rather play Instant Shining Flash because it is kills momentum and is a 1 low block rather than this is just like a 4 damage move. Or they're at deadlock and it's an 8 damage move with the Echo. And like this thing redraws you a card, but like our character already draws a ton, right? Of discard, draw 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, what is your opinion on the strike then?
So I think that like you say that this is a card you have to block, and I just don't think that's true. I think I'm down just to take 4 and care about the things that you draw. Right? Like how are you like when you think about strike, how do you in your deck utilize momentum? The answer is Lizard Tail Splitter for in deadlock and interdimensional plants, and I will just block the ones that you pumped rather than this 4 damage do nothing card. Right?
Okay.
Like everything else, like there's no other real momentum outs. Looking in your foundations, yeah, the answer is no. Which is like to the point of like Punisher Beam isn't like it snaps the momentum, but what are we using it for? The answer is just plants. Which is why I think like having stuff like the BFE is like super good, right? Like hell, I could see you playing 4 BFEs and like feeling great.
Just play the full set. Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's a 7 high for 5 at minimum, right? And like it's a decent 2 high block, right? Our other high block doesn't exist. We only have the 4, right? Like a 4 vial, or let's like get crazy with it and it could just be 3, right? Like we just have 3 and this is our big kill condition, right? Like just having a bunch of cards in your discard pile is like super cool. Like double BFE is like very good, right? Yeah, I would do those. We could easily do. I mean, doing something like Finger Daggers is like a 5 mid for 6 4 diff that draws you a card. Like this is a card that you want to block, right? Like you're just like not allowed to take this one because it's 6 damage as opposed to 4. And this says not block to draw 2. This says if it deals damage, draw 1, which is the same thing, right?
Yeah. But the damage is more important than the draws. I get it.
Correct. Yeah, just because your character like draws so much already. But like we've got Finger Daggers, which is a 2 high block, but we've got Vial, which is just like a way better card, right? So we move on. What else could exist in here? How easy is it for you to get True 100% Unleashed before the tournament?
I already have one. If I need to get a whole set, I could get them all immediately.
Okay. I'm going to put 1 in because I think that this card is very strong. Let's do a little bit more looking. Just making sure that we're not missing anything, you know?
Yeah.
Excuse me. Gory Step, Vial. Big.
Would that even be an idea? Just playing a 5 mid for 10 that I can make a 7 mid for 10, and that's just what it is.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, right? Like it is.
But
it's not
I
bad.
Could just play I could just play Blue Flame Flare at that point, right?
Yeah. I think that Hulking Grimace is probably better than Flare, but because it just does more damage. But at the same time, like this does that much damage, this does that much damage. Like there's like things to do about it. Let me run back through these and see if I missed anything.
I think for just to keep in mind, like the Godzilla stuff just doesn't really work in Vash. There's not a lot of death that removes except for the newest stuff,
Yeah.
but it's not exactly great.
I'm
But
trying to
you
look
could do
for
it.
4-diff low blocks that like matter, right? Yeah, it's just instant shining at the moment. Because like I want to keep the difficulty curve a little lower.
Well, yeah.
And I'm trying to look for a low block to get rid of this whatever. Man, Fan the Hammer is surprisingly good against in this character. Because like you make it a
Do you think
5
so?
low for whatever you mill, and it mills 4, right? It just like turns this card on a little quicker. Because like I just like don't
Yeah.
want Lizard Tail Splitter at all, right? Like Lizard Tail is just gone. Like we don't care about this card. And I don't like Stylus Strike. I think it's like a really cool one of, right? But this is not
Do you
enough
think Stinger
attacks.
Daggers just replaced the other 3?
It could. It could. Let me do a little bit more. I mean, this is honestly like a really sick kill card as well.
The 5/4 powerful 3.
Yeah, it's a 7 low
It's a
for
7/4.
whatever you make it.
Yeah.
And this is where like we get to reward having more open-ended ideas when it comes to the game.
This is like part of the thing that why I really wanted to build Vash as well, because like my buddy's just a huge fan of like mid-range in games in general. So like being able to handle any situation is kind of like what we want to do with this deck.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm also pulling the cards as we're talking, so.
Sure. Oh, I'm gonna send you a finalized list whenever we get done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Man, I do not hate like a one of Hulking Grimace. I think that's actually kind of sick. That's just like his a 7 mid for 10 catch. Like those are Ochako 2 numbers, right? Before your time, I know, but
I've read the card. I have it now. So.
It's good. Man, I don't hate Cheerful either. Let's look and see what we have. So we're at 20, which is not bad. Let's look at our block zones.
What do you think about 100% power, by the way?
100%?
No, not true 100, but regular 100.
Oh, it's a 2-check is my issue.
It is. Never mind. You're right.
Yeah,
I'm not touching that.
It's a 2-check. It's very good. It's a 2-check, and I just don't think we need the 2-check. Like, I would rather, like, if we were gonna play 100% power, we should just play more Hulking Grimaces because they check better stats, right?
Yeah.
So here's my thought, right? I think playing more true 100% unleashes is way cooler than pretty much than most things. I think this card is very good and is very slept on in decks that like are just like not choosing not to play it. I think that this card is such a crazy bomb. As long as you like open with it and your character gives bonus stats. And if you don't need the 6-diff, you can just toss it with your character and just draw more cards. Like it's fine. Like I want to, I'm probably going to get rid of this gouging needle, or if you want to, we could do one gouging triple vial, but I think vial is probably just the better idea.
Vial is just a superior card, I think.
Yeah. I want to take and I want to increase his hulking up to a 2 of. I want to take this up to a 3 of and kill Punisher's Beam. See what happens. We're still at 20. I think 20 is fine in our character.
Is there? Do you see any of those that we want to bump one more? I am a fan of playing 21, just because you're like you said, he's a pacifist, so you kind of like want the attacks, and sometimes if you get rid of them all, you have like they're in the discard pile, you know, and you need when you want to find them.
I mean, the answer is probably just Instant Shining Flash because it's momentum hate, and it says that you're allowed to open with this, hit them for 4, and then play something like a true 100% or like a Hulking Grimace afterwards, and like it's a 1/2 touch. Or you can Instant Shining Flash late into your string and go BFE. Or if you want to just get crazy, just like make another Hulking Grimace. So, like this is like part of your like big kill is this is a 7 mid for 10, like just catch.
So if you were thinking about what you wanted to play for the regional, what would your choice be here?
And I think the idea of having both Hulking Grimace and Explosion, just like being crazy kill cards, is like kind of cool. Yeah, I mean, I like what's going on here. I think this is very neat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And then I guess besides that, then I guess with like the foundation.
Let's look and see actions assets about what matters. Right?
Okay.
I don't hate plants. Showdown is just in your sideboard. Okay.
I don't know what the side should be, so it's like just blocking and throw hate. So
yeah, so for these I normally just don't do sideboards because I think sideboards are really meta dependent, and I'd rather you have like a focused main board and then figure out your sideboard afterwards. I am a huge fan of League of Villains right now. I think League of Villains is really potent. I think there's a lot of playable while committed stuff going on. So like the incremental burn is like really cool, followed by like just being able to cancel one thing is strong. It's a 4-diff though, which is scary. And so like it just depends.
I don't think I'm as afraid of a 4-diff, so I'm much more willing to play a 4 than like a 2.
The next idea is like just Battle Arena. This card is just like good in every deck under its symbols, specifically because you want momentum for your BFE, and you're playing 6 diffs, and so this guy just counting his 2 foundations on the board is like good, right? It's like just an aggro. It's just an aggro card, which feels pretty good. But maybe it probably can get cut. And I think you could probably cut plants down to a 1 of, and we're gonna main board 1 showdown to cover that high slot.
Gotcha.
Okay. On to our difficulties. How many Botons coaching do you own?
I have the whole set.
4.
All right. I wasn't sure just because like Vash draws the crap ton, and I wasn't sure if it's like, oh yeah, we still play all 4.
It just cycles cards, which is super important. We should be playing Surviving the Final.
I cut it. That was funny.
Minus speed is just like so important. Like imagine you fight against the mirror match. Surviving the Final by itself cancels your character because you -1 speed and then turn it sideways for the plus the control check, right? So this is once per turn cancel Vash.
Okay.
Right? Is a way that you could look at it. You could probably cut it down to a 3 of if you really wanted to, but I think that especially because like you're playing 6 diffs, like we have to have quality spam so that I can play on turn 2. If Hulking Grimace is just the play on turn 2, I should just sling it.
Gotcha.
But I'm a big fan of this. I'm a big fan of Syndicate Target. I think the chaos low attacks are crazy right now, and so like I want a really quality. We'll go back to difficulty. I want a really quality 0 low block that is like the stats on this card are like crazy, and this card is an easy flip for battle release instant shining flash, and so like on board it does not feel bad because your attacks are going to want to flip it.
Yeah.
Up next we've got selling all debts should just be a 4 of because drawing cards is important. We want to draw cards specifically on defense.
I wasn't even sure like because like just you're an 8-hander, and like I was always like just like struggling with like I feel like I have a lot of draw, and I wasn't sure if it was like I want like just more like I thought about maybe playing more copies of like Always Cool or what's the other one, Weapon Clash, just because I felt like if I wanted more cards to like for like defense, I wanted them on the field already.
Sure. So here's my counterpoint. On the turns that you want to kill them, are you down to sacrifice 1 attack to maybe draw 3? Right? Or if you need all the attacks in your hand and I need to draw 1 more, I just selling all that's I Botan's coaching and I just draw on my turn rather than I latent skill. I draw on my turn rather than get rid of a thing that get rid of an orange card to possibly draw better orange cards, right? Like, this is a gamble.
All right.
Right? This is really
Yeah.
good on defense of like, hey, this block zone is not it. It's not where it's at. So I'm gonna find something else to do. I will commit discard redraw 3. Very cool on defense. Very cool for building. But on the turn that you're going in, this actually isn't very good.
Alrighty.
We have settled our damage problems. We don't need learning to harden.
Okay.
Yeah. The commit for minus speed is not as good as other things that we could be doing. I really like split body control. How do you feel about fashion icon?
Trying to remember what it's just. Oh, I like it because it's not as good as what is it called, that invincible body thing, the girl reset. It's not as good as like that in my opinion, but it kind of does the same thing.
Yeah. I want to mess with your numbers a little bit. Or sorry, better question. What's this number at? What do you want? What do you want the total cards in the deck to be?
I want it at 60. But like,
Okay.
if you think we can, if you feel like it actually isn't that damaging if we go above that by any amount, like, then I'm more than open to like listen to that.
We're probably gonna want to go
just
a little above just because of our difficulty curve of playing a 6 diff on turn 2. Like, if this is the play, playing a 6 diff on turn 2, and I draw double Hulking Grimace on turn 2, I just can't play them, right? I play one, pitch the other, try to build. And so, like, having slightly more foundations is not a bad thing with how much that we can draw. It just says that you have to sculpt your hand a little better rather than you have to hold attack cards and like take some turns off and like actively like make the choice to, I'm gonna take this turn off.
all right.
When it comes to things like league interview, I think that this deserves to be a 1 of if you play it at all. It's a 0 or a 1 for me. You only ever want one of this on the board at a time, right? The first form only happens one time, and then the response to flip is not worth the 2/6 slot. The first form is because we're playing a 6 check or a 6 diff, and that's the only reason that I would put league interview in my deck at all. Spooky does not deserve to be in our deck. We don't have enough speed negation to make this worth it.
All right.
Yeah. If our character said mill for +2/-2, I'd be down, but it does not. I should actually come back here and look at my 1 diffs again. Man, I'm such a fan of Malicious Evil. We'll put this in the sideboard and we'll look at it. Okay.
Oh, you like Frightening Calm?
I think lock breakers are important in the game. I think lock breakers need to exist so that you don't just get absolutely blown out by deadlock.
Makes sense.
Because you do not have the defensive capabilities to just sit there and survive in deadlock and be fine with it. So we're just going to toss a couple things in the sideboard and figure out what we're allowed to like mess with. If Revo clears a card, we don't care about this. Beep bop beep bop boop. Beneath the armor. Man, if I had copies of True 100% Smash, I would totally play this for Webcam Wednesday. I just like want to play that card so bad. Failed.
Is it bad? I was sad when I. Oh. Is it bad? I felt sad when I pulled it instead of like, you know, another Walk the Dog.
No. I mean, Walk the Dog is like in the same sphere, right? Of like crazy attack that just like absolutely murders them. So no, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Every time that I play with this card, I go, this card is not fair. This card's just not one of the fair cards in the game. When I get paid next month, I'm ordering 4 of them. Like, it's just like the big purchase that I'm making for the game. All Vash with True 100% is really fun. You can loop it like 3 times and watch somebody explode. Yes, Thantech. It's crazy.
Loop it.
Yeah, the all symbol has a pseudo infinite loop that just like throws your entire hand and turns every card in your hand into a 6 high, 4, 5, or 6, depending on what you have on the board. And you can do that idea with True 100%.
Okay.
And you can play like 3 times. Like playing that card 3 times is like kind of messed up. Yeah, this is great. Okay. So I don't think that you need House of Cards. This is momentum hate.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to just cut it. I kind of want to just get it out of there. It's not
You
that
think it's
big
like
of
a
a
side
deal.
piece then?
I think it's a sideboard piece if your rival has momentum. My big thing about this card is I don't think it at the 1 of is enough to like stop momentum, right? Like if they're going to get momentum, they're going to get it.
All right.
And there's so much draw that if I put an attack on top of their deck by removing a readied foundation, they're just going to draw that piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This leaves. I think Keiko's at a 3 of is fine. I think Fighting for Control also at a 3 of is fine. And I don't think that you need latent skill. And the only reason I'm doing this is because I feel like we have to cut high blocks. Yeah, we're at 27 high blocks. I just think we just have to cut them.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I can understand the cut of latent. It wasn't in there originally, so.
This puts us down to 27 high blocks, right? 26 high blocks maybe. Yeah, 26 high blocks. 63 cards. Yeah, there is an idea where like we cut the interdimensional plant. There's an idea where we cut the showdown to like save on room for high block wise. Or we could cut things down from like Fighting for Control, Weapon Clash down to a 2 of, Surviving the Final down to a 3 of, right? This is a fine cut. But like we have a lot of high blocks, and we have high blocks that we want to block with like showdown. And a lot of our other high blocks they're all 3s. All of these block zones are pretty bad, and so like holding Vial, holding Showdown, you a 3 as well. You're not. So our high blocks are pretty rough to block with, but like it'll be okay. Block zones. When it comes to lows, how do you feel about split body control in the main board?
I think it's a neat card. I haven't played with it enough.
Okay.
I splashed it as a 1 of to see how it felt. It was neat. I haven't played enough with it, so.
Here's what I would do. I'm going to cut it from the deck, and I'm going to put in a 4th Always Cool, because I think the coolest thing that the Death Symbol could do right now is 4x Always Cool, and then some amount of Invincible Body, and say that all of my rivals' moves don't do dick for damage, right? So I don't have to actually block things, and I get to keep my hand really healthy, and if I can choose to block if I want to block.
With Always Cool, when you build by the way, the top 2, it's always it's face up unless it's an attack, right?
They're always face down.
Oh, they're always face down.
Always face down.
All right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
The last card that I want to talk about really is just Fashion Icon. I think that this is a really cool 1 of, and I want to put in ideas of like 1 refreshing slice, 1 failed role model. I think failed role model will do a very similar job as the low block that we just talked about.
Yeah,
this thing. After your attack is blocked, flip 1 rival foundation. I think just taking and sealing it on the kill turn is just good enough. And I really like Refreshing Slice as a good momentum out, that because you only really need 1 momentum. None of your other stuff uses momentum, and this is just I'm gonna re-ready a bunch of cards and commit a bunch of your stuff. Like I really like Refreshing Slice, and I really like Failed Role Model. It's either that or you put in Malicious Evil, which is a different idea of failed role model, right? But Malicious Evil has to happen on the attack that you're playing, so normally it's like the first enhance you play, rather than failed role model that you like play out instant Shining Flash, not care about it, flip failed role model, seal their thing, and then true 100%, they don't get a chance to respond, they don't get a chance to do whatever with it, right?
Yeah.
And so for that reason, like I like failed role model at a 1 of in here as well. 62 cards, 21 attacks. I think this probably looks good. This is at least good for like the testing phase of the deck, right? Oh my god, what a sick opening hand. 3, 3, 3, 4, 4. If I check a 3 on either of these, I like play it safe. Hold the 2 mid block for next turn. Whew. This says that they can't kill you.
I mean, you can guarantee the 4 foundations.
Yeah, you guarantee 4 for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you roll the dice on the struggling, basically. That's it. Okay.
This is a mulligan. This is great. 2, 2, 2, 3. You've got Battle Aura and BFE. I mean, just opening BFE is like it's just a 7 high for 5 that like hits them, right? They don't want to deal with it. So there's 5 less damage you have to deal with Vash. And or you just Battle Aura, toss the BFE, and then it's like we're off to the races. Like this in my opening hand feels good going first, right? They can't kill me on turn 2 because of Always Cool, and I get to have resources. So this is a 6 high for 5 that drew me a bonus card, that drew me 3 more cards. I just build out from there. Like, this is a great opening hand. Yeah, I'm into it. Final thoughts?
Is there anything? I guess we didn't bring up one other action, like Genka's Guidance. Like, I don't know where your opinions are on that card in this deck.
I think Guidance is Showdown adjacent. I am not the biggest fan of Guidance. I think Guidance is really, really good super late, whereas Showdown is good in any point in the game. But there's sometimes that Showdown just doesn't get the job done. Like, you just have to Guidance them, right? Amajiki's got 4 momentum. They play Armor of the Wolf. Showdown's not doing anything in that matchup. Guidance has to be the answer. But I think that there's too much stuff at the moment that shuts down Guidance. And I think that if you are forced to Guidance too early, you'll just lose the game and it feel like it's just I just don't like Guidance. I think it's just like, hey, I've said it. I just don't like Guidance. I think it's a 1 of at most. I think playing any more than 1 of is trolling. So it really is like, do you like Showdown? Do you like Guidance? That's the question.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, thank you for the support over on Patreon. Stay on the line long enough for me to shoot you the list, and you have a good rest of your night, okay?
Thank you, Dr. Tam.
You're very welcome.